When you first approach the bandsaw in the workshop, you may find that the yellow blade guard is down. This little black knob on the side you can unscrew, and that will enable you to adjust the guard and lift it up and down. Just support it from the underneath and lift that up and down. If I get a piece of wood, you'll see how ordinarily you set that guard to just above the thickness of the material that you're trying to cut. If you got it too high, you're exposing yourself to more of the blade, creating more hazard. So just above the thickness of the material. This is the fence, which if you lift this handle at the front, you can slide that into position, and it's ideal for pieces of material you want to cut with a straight line or set thicknesses repeating of cutting the material. You can take it off, put it on a bench or put it on the floor just in front of you if it is in the way. And the on-off switch is just here. Here's the off, there's the on, the green one on the left hand side of the machine. Now if I push this piece of MDF through, you can see how that cuts quite easily without any force, and it's quite a clean cut. Now if I want to use the fence to cut repeated straight lines or thin pieces, can you see how the guard is slightly in the way? So it's perfectly acceptable to lift it up higher than you would ordinarily have it in order to cut thinner pieces, so that you can reach and push that through. Now when you get close to the edge here, look, I don't want my fingers or my thumb or anything pushing, so use a push stick, which is just on the left hand side of the machine, and you can finish that off safely. And it's ideal for cutting smaller pieces as well, and there's no chance of having your fingers anywhere close to the blade. We don't want to see any of this sort of activity in pushing wood through. And you can, in some instances like here, even pushing a bigger piece through, you may need to use a push stick. And here I'm using 2 sticks to support a really thin piece of wood through the machine. Now of course a bandsaw is ideal for cutting curves or shapes. So if I just try and follow this line on here, can you see how that's a little bit difficult for that blade without twisting it to cut? And the evidence is there, look. So the blade at the moment is too big, it's too deep. So if we look at the other blades, you can see how there's one that's much smaller. So in some instances you'll need to get a technician or a member of staff to change the blade for you. Don't force your way through. See how this one's much thinner? And if we try this again, it should be much easier to follow a tighter curve with a smaller blade fitted. And you can actually follow quite tight curves, but it's important that you're constantly pushing forwards as you turn. You can't twist the blade or force it. It's always allowing the tool to do the cutting, not you turning and forcing it through the wood. There we go, we've ended up with quite a decently close follow to the line on there. You can't put rounded pieces of material, misshapen, it's going to pull it out of your hand on there. So it's always got to be flat, and equally it's your responsibility to look for nails or staples or other things that shouldn't be in the wood when you're trying to cut it. Vital that you clean up, put your scraps in the yellow box on the floor, and always good practice with any machine, the bandsaw included, make sure it's tidy when you finish.